You're watching Team Han Vlog. I'm Josh, and today we are starting first video of probably a bunch of videos on converting our attic into a giant playroom. Let me show you where this is going and kind of why we're doing this. So basically, we're gonna be going up these stairs here, and if you go to the right, there's a bedroom. To the left, there is a big open space. I don't know if we'll be able to see it in here. Oh yeah, you can, kinda. So there's room for a 16 by 24 foot room, roughly, with full height ceilings. Now the reason we're doing this house is just a 2-bedroom, 2-bath house, which is totally fine, but there's not like room for the kids' toys. So right now, the kids, they have their playroom in the garage. And I'm warning you right now, it is an absolute disaster. Because they didn't pick up from their last playing. And it just kind of like migrates over to the garage gym, which is not cool. And then plus, like, this isn't an ideal situation for the kids. And we'd like, you know, to be able to park in here. I know that there's lots of people in the world that have garages that don't park in them, but I do not want to be those people. Everything that's gonna last needs to start with a firm foundation. So we've got to put in some posts and beams to hold up, since we're gonna be cutting out a ton of structural members up in the trusses. And so today we're going to lay out where the footings go to hold up them posts. This wall here is about 2 feet or so outside of where the room's gonna be. And so we are going to put a beam from the end of this wall that way. We're gonna have to put a beam above the window there to carry the load of this beam. So there'll be a post hidden in the wall here, a post hidden in the wall in that corner. So that's the far side of the room. And then on the other side of the room, kind of goes into the bedroom. We're going to put a post here. We're going to put a post in that wall right about there. And then following along into the laundry. So the stairs are behind that wall. We'll put a post here. There's a section of this floor that's gonna actually ride on this exterior wall here. If you're gonna tackle a project like this, I highly recommend getting an engineer. It's probably almost like necessary. I think it helped getting the permit, but basically the stairs will come up right about here, and then this is that little entry room. And then this is the playroom. It's actually 15'6" by 23'6". This is this kitchen wall right here. This is the window's about right there. So this is the laundry door right about there. So yeah, beam, 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 beam. And so today we're gonna lay out this post and this post. This one's pretty easy because it's right in the end of that wall. This one is a little trickier because basically I need to make sure that I'm far enough over on that laundry room door and carry it a straight line all the way to this exterior wall. So I'll explain what I'm doing the best I can. But we'll start with the easy one just to get, you know, kind of warmed up here. So on this center post, I need 5 2x4s to hold the load. And so basically, I'm gonna cut myself a hole here in the drywall, kind of find the end of this wall, and then measure what my center of those 5 2x4s is going to be, and drill a hole through the center of the bottom plate, and stick like a stick down there or whatever so I can find it, crawl in the crawl space, and basically level down, plumb down from that hole, and lay out my footing. So there's probably a single 2x4 there at least, and 1/2 inch drywall. So probably gotta make a cut there. 5 2x4s is 7.5 inches. So we'll go 8 inches from the wall. That should be the other end of my cut. You never know if there's gonna be wires, so kind of be careful. It feels like you're snagging on something. Don't just power through. All right, let's go try to find that. Well, it's not ideal in a few respects here. One being, well, pretty much the main thing being fans right there. There's enough room for the post. I can cut this insulation back, put the post right up against the ducting, but I'm gonna have to like brace this up. I think there's some concrete blocks in there. It might actually be a poured footing. But I gotta do a 3 foot by 3 foot, 1 foot thick pad right here. I'm not even sure if there's 1 foot there, and I'm pretty sure this is like solid basalt. So this one's gonna be a little tricky, but we'll figure it out. It's always unique challenges when you're doing remodeling, but I like it, so we'll figure it out. Before we tackle this, I kind of want to lay out that other post to make sure we're not getting into any significant issues. I can already see there's some pipes and stuff over there, so it might get interesting. Alright, so I found the edge of this stud here, and the way these are framed, this stud here goes all the way up. It's called the king stud, and then the next one over is called the trimmer, and it basically supports the header. So the king stud's not actually holding the weight of this header. It's just kind of providing side to side strength, I suppose. So that header goes and sets on this trimmer, and then the king stud goes all the way up. So we're going to utilize that king stud as one of our 2x6s, and the plans call for 2 2x6s to hold up the LVL. So I plumb lined that edge, which is the center of our 2 2x6s, and then so that basically is the center of our beam then, and I marked out the edge of the beam up there. I'm going to square that across over there. I'm going to drill a couple holes in the ceiling up into the attic so I can kind of see where we're at for our walls up there. The walls are kind of established with the trusses. All right, well, I went up in the attic after drilling a couple holes here. Then up in the attic, I measured off the vertical truss members that are going to be my wall, and transferred that mark of the beam all the way over into the bedroom, and it's absolutely crazy how it lined up. So there's the edge of the beam right there, and look, it's perfectly on the edge of that freaking window. It's awesome. On this wall here, we're gonna overlap the beam. So one beam's gonna be here, one beam's gonna be right next to it over here, so we can fit those 5 2x4s within that wall. So the beam on the laundry room side, I'm gonna have to scoot it over 1 beam width. The edge of the beam will actually be here and over, which means this outlet's gonna have to move over quite a ways. No big deal. We'll get that taken care of, and I'll actually have to add 2 full 2x6s there. I'm wanting to move this one so at the landing up here, we have just a little bit more floor space. I know it's only 3.5 inches, but that could make a big difference with door trim and stuff like that. Now I need to climb back up into the attic and measure over, that's about 15.5 feet to that wall, and try to find that wall up in the attic, and then drill a little peephole up there so I can lay out where that post goes. We're getting close to starting forms. I did on that hole right on the edge of the trim. That was luck. I mean, kind of educated guessing too, but still, it's a plumb down. Definitely gonna have to be moving some electrical. This is the edge of the beam that's gonna be on the window there behind me in the bedroom. And then this is the edge of the beam that goes into the laundry room. So I'm gonna cut this hole, drill my center, and figure out where that's at down in the crawl space. Also, found my chisel up there. Must have dropped it last time I was scoping this thing out. All right. This 2x4 ends up being right smack in the middle of my 5 2x4s, so I can just put two 2x4s on either side of that one, which is great. But I couldn't drill the center line, obviously. So what I did was, I just found the edge of it and center of the edge and drilled down, so I'm just gonna have to remember where I'm at when I go downstairs. Let's go see where it's located underneath. Hopefully it's in a good spot. Light's doing some weird stuff, but not a bad location in the floor. That's gonna be all easy. But runs right into this footing. And that footing's not gonna be thick enough. So unfortunately I might have to cut out some of that footing in order to get a thick enough footing. Kind of a bummer deal. It's all good. Just gotta move forward, push ahead. So I think what I'm gonna do now is get my level down here and mark out exactly where it's gonna go. And I can cheat that footing this way a little bit. I don't know if there's rebar in there. Probably is. All right, I got the footing laid out. This is like 2 inches past, that way I've got room for my saw. And so basically I'm gonna cut this bottom plate with the Sawzall, move these 2 studs over, then just go without this middle one for now, and it should carry. I'm not too worried about it. And then we'll put it back in after the new footing's poured. There's some pressure on that bad boy. All right, this is the part that sucks. Cutting the concrete out, but I'm just gonna use my skill saw, and so I can cut like about halfway through it, maybe a little less, and then just beat on it with the sledgehammer. All right, well, I think we're at a pretty good stopping point for today. I got this one over by the fan for central air. Got that big block pulled out. It was like some kind of weird fiberglass block. There it is right there. It's like super light. Kind of weird. Never seen anything like that. Anyway, it's pulled out because that footing is going to go pretty much way under there. Got a jack under there holding it up, and I'm going to try to dig this down as long as I don't hit any major rock, far enough to fit at least the foot part of this under there to support that, and that'll give a little space for this wiring here. So anyway, this is ready to go. That other side, I'm gonna have to rent a concrete saw because my skill saw just doesn't cut deep enough, and I'm not gonna pound on it for hours. So gonna get a concrete saw in the morning and hopefully knock that out pretty quick, get these forms made, and then I gotta send some pics over to the inspector so we can pour it. But so probably not pouring tomorrow, but we'll at least get it ready to pour tomorrow. So see you bright and early. All right, picked up the concrete saw. Went with the electric one since I'm gonna be in that crawl space. I don't wanna be breathing all the fumes and stuff, but I've used one of these before, the electric ones. They work pretty good. So it should make pretty short work of that footing. So I'm gonna get it set up down there, and we'll get cutting. All right, got the saw set up. They didn't give me the attachment for the water. So, got this, I'm just gonna jam it in the hole there. Turn it on a little bit. Got to cut this end from this side, which, you know, it's tight in here. And then I can cut the other side from the easier side. But anyway, we'll see how this thing goes. All right, I think the hardest part is over. Usually, once you get the middle out, the sides break out pretty easy, but it is still pretty thick. So we shall see, but I'm gonna beat on these. Hopefully they just break off, because with the middle out, you're not fighting pinching the concrete, and it's not trying to break two sides, it's just that one side. So hopefully it comes out all right. We shall see. Sweet. Right on. You're all busted out. That was way easier after you got the middle out. So I'm gonna clean up this mess, clean myself up, because I am filthy. Probably gonna go ahead and change, because man, this is nasty, nasty, nasty. All right, we're to the step of the process now where we're gonna finally be building forms. And footing forms are super easy. So especially the one that's over underneath that HVAC unit, because basically it's just a square. And so we can cut all of our boards the same length, just cut them 1.5 inches long from the dimension of the footing. So that gives you the thickness of the board, and you can just chase the forms around, or chase the boards around, and I'll show you what I mean by that. So let's get these cut at 3 foot 1.5, and then I'll show you what I mean by chasing them around. So this is what I mean by chasing the boards around. See, this one overlaps that one overlaps that one overlaps that one overlaps that one. So super easy, you can cut all the boards the same length. When you're nailing concrete forms together, you want to use duplex nails. They have that double head, and that's so you can get a pry bar on that thing easy when you go to strip them. So I'm gonna go ahead and nail these suckers up. I'm gonna have to leave one side off and nail it under the house, so otherwise I'm not gonna be able to get this thing through the crawl space door. All right, it is pour day. Got the mixer set up, brought the muscles. We got backup coming. Forms look pretty good. Got the rebar in there. That one was a pain in the butt underneath the furnace, so I had to chip out all the dirt with a freaking like pry bar basically. But I'm just gonna set up a GoPro, and I'm gonna try to bust this out before I gotta go to work tonight. are poured, which is awesome. Gosh, that was a brutal workout. You know, basically bend over farmer carries and then Russian twists as you're moving the bucket. It was terrible. But I think the hardest part of this project is done, which is awesome. So yeah, in a couple weeks we'll start working on posts and the walls and maybe some of the beams. I'm pretty dang excited. This project is going to be awesome, so stick around. You want to see the progress for sure. All right, thanks for watching. See you next time.